Inception, cleverest dumb movie ever or stupidest smart movie ever? Inception is a film about a failed architect who's haunted by the ghost of a dead mall. That's really what it's about.
The dead mall has even become its own aesthetic, capturing the imaginations of several internet photographers and filmmakers.
The main character is named Dom, but his wife was a top. He gaslit her until she committed suicide. If you meet someone and they tell you that Inception is their favorite film because it's so philosophical, run away fast. This person is dumb, and if there's anything we know about dumb people, it's that they don't understand contraception. So this person either has syphilis or is a virgin. Okay, that's just logic. Look, Inception's not a horrible movie. It's a well-made blockbuster. It's got a lot of cool shots, cool actors, cool effects, pretty cool premise, cool music. That ruined trailers for a decade.
The draft is now officially open.
But it's not clever. And if you think it's clever, that's because Christopher Nolan inseminated your brain, planting an idea in someone's brain and then they think it's their idea. What? It's called teaching. That's teaching. So it's not horrible. It's not an awful movie. So don't at me being like, oh, I get it, it's a blockbuster. But my issues with Nolan films are that they're not as clever as they think they are. And I just feel him up his own ass the whole time. And while it feels philosophical or clever, it's not really if you actually stop to think about it. He just gives you no time to think about it. And no, I'm not mad about the ambiguous ending. I'm fine with not resolving and picking a side or the other. I'm mad that the ending that you thought was philosophical and clever was actually really hilariously stupid. So the ending, everyone wants to talk about the ambiguous ending, so that's where I'm gonna not start. I'm gonna start with dreams are not video games. Dreams are not video games. I recently had a dream that I was on a date, even though I'm married. It was a secret date. And the whole time I'm paranoid. Like I woke up in like a cold sweat, like paranoid, I'm gonna get caught. Plot twist, it was with a man and I'm not gay, okay? So part of the dream was like, I'm afraid I'm leading this guy on. I don't know why. I'm going through with the date. Don't wanna get caught by my wife. Also, it was Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm not sure if it's Charlie Kelly or Charlie Day. It doesn't matter, it's a dream. Weird shit happens in dreams. It could have been both, I don't know. No, we did not eat milk steak.
What's your favorite hobby? Magnets.
I'm gay for Charlie Day is the point of the story. Inception treats the human brain like it's a Grand Theft Auto 5 server. And there's all this real world logic just all over the place that just doesn't belong there. Dreams are basically GTA 5 escort missions.
All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ. All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ. All we had to do.
Okay, so how does healthcare work in dreams?
Has he been shot? Is he dying? I don't know.
Is Yusuf's dream the Matrix simulating every molecule in Saito's body? Is it simulating like his heart rate, blood pressure, diabetes levels, penis? Like if a doctor came and gave him the right drug, would it work? What if I just dreamed up a magical pill that makes him all better? We established you can dream and change your appearance entirely. Eames turns into Tom Berenger. Can you not dream up like, oh, here's a surgeon and he fixes him? Or just dream that like, oh, hey, the bullet's gone. You're telling me you can fold Paris in half, but you can't make a bullet wound disappear? These projections, these NPCs, they follow rules. Like they can't just teleport anywhere. They can't just appear or walk through walls. Like, so they build mazes that keeps them out, which again is just treating it like a video game. Like in a dream, people just pop in and out of existence. You can change your appearance entirely and just turn into Tom Berenger or a hot lady. Can I just not turn into Godzilla? Like, and you're like, oh, but the NPCs would attack you. It's like, okay, but I'm fucking Godzilla. Like, come at me, bro. Oh, they would get too aggressive. Maybe the other NPCs would up their game and they'd turn into Mothra or something. Sounds cool and better than just Call of Duty. In the big heist, they have the architect, which is Juno. Then Yusuf in Dream Level 1 is the one dreaming. And then Fisher, Bobby Fischer, is the subject. And so he's filling it with the subconscious. But then Eames can just turn into Tom Berenger. So he can do stuff. He also just makes a grenade launcher out of nowhere. So other people who aren't the architect, the dreamer, or the subject can also make things appear. Also, Cobb can conjure up a train on accident. So anybody can change anything. But none of them dream up that they're Jesus or like Neo or Indiana Jones and he has the Holy Grail. You can't be Indiana Jones in your dreams. It's fucking, like, what are dreams for, man? Now you're probably saying, just go with it, it's a movie. Suspend disbelief, it's a movie. You know, I'm a screenwriter. I don't want to go, I guess it's fine, and then jerk off. I want to fix it. I want to fix it, and I can fix it very easily. You ready? Don't call them dreams. Call it VR, or a better version of the Matrix. So what they're doing, they're like plugging people in. They're going to this shared space. It's exactly what happens in the Matrix. It's exactly what happens in eXistenZ. You fall asleep, we plug you in, you think you're dreaming, but we're actually like put you into like a Matrix thing. And then we don't have to make this huge leap of logic to treat brains like they're overclocked supercomputers. Like what are you doing?
They say we only use a fraction of our brain's true potential. Now, that's when we're awake. When we're asleep, our mind can do almost anything.
His subconscious is militarized. It should have shown in the research, I'm sorry.
So why the hell didn't it?
They come here every day to sleep.
So, way to bury the lead, you guys. They invented immortality and they're just like, don't even notice it? Get you and your bros, go into a dream within a dream, maybe within a dream, and then you just hang out there all night, 8 hours. And that's like 7 years. It's a 7-year land party. You can do that every night. You can live like 2,000 years a year with your friends. And if you're like, okay, you're gonna go crazy, talking to yourself, living in this invented world. Okay, but if your friends are there, it's not gonna be like that.
If you stayed your whole life in the game world, then you could live to about, 500 years.
So in the world of Inception, is Stephen King up in there just like writing a novel every night? Is Inception, is that just a metaphor for cocaine?
Gravity on that planet will slow our clock compared to Earth's drastically.
I bet.
Well, every hour we spend on that planet will be 7 years back on Earth.
Third level.
It's 10 years.
They insist on doing the math and telling us precise numbers and getting them wrong or inconsistent, and it bugs the fucking shit out. Is a dream 10 times faster? Or is it 13.3 times faster? Or is it 20 times faster? They don't know, and they change it all the time. They give you all these calculators. Oh my God.
5 minutes in the real world gives you an hour in the dream.
It'll be about 20 times normal. It's 3 dreams, that's 10 hours
I'm
times
sorry,
20.
maths was never my strong subject.
It's a week, the first level down. 6 months, the second level down, and the third level.
It's 10 years.
3-4 hours each day. And dream time with this compound, about 40 hours each and every day.
Why?
Uses 10 seconds from the jump, which gives Arthur 3 minutes, which gives us what?
60 minutes.
Can they make that route in under? Arthur has a couple minutes, we have about 20. Inception's not about being specific.
Okay, the longest flight in the world. They plan around the longest flight in the world.
We need at least a good 10 hours.
Sydney to Los Angeles. One of the longest flights in the world.
So at only 10x, if you abduct Fisher and you have him asleep for 30 minutes in the real world, that's it, 30 minutes, not 10 hours. That gets you 300 minutes in the city. You can abduct him, do a little torture, okay. That gets you 3,000 minutes or 50 hours in the hotel with 0G, which in the movie looks like it takes a couple hours. This gets you 50. And then it gets you 21 days for the snow level, which again looks like it took, I don't know, a couple hours. So getting into Fisher's dreams at only 10x, 30 minutes is all it takes. But they plan around like, we need the longest flight in the world, like 8 hours to do, like why? And if they hurry, and if you're using the 20x multiplier, which they throw out there, 5 minutes is all it takes. 5 minutes of sleep in the real world. At 20x, that's 100 minutes in the first dream, which is, you know, could be a tight fit, all right. But that gets you 33 hours in the hotel, which they had plenty, they didn't take 33 hours there. And that still gets you like almost a month in the snow level, which again was what, a few hours? Okay. So they planned the whole heist around this requirement that they have like 9 years in the snow level? Like what? Why?
Third level.
It's 10 years.
Why?
So imagine me at the naive age of 24, sitting in the theater, thinking this movie's great, this dream level is gonna go like a decade. Like, what are they gonna do in this decade? And I'm like, what, you know, it's gonna be crazy shit, right? Like, are they gonna spend a decade gaslighting him in like a Truman Show thing into changing his mind? Like maybe Eames turns into like a hot hippie chick And then he falls in love with her. He's like, yeah, the planet. And he turns him like into a hippie vegan so that then he'll want to break up the oil company or something. You get 10 years of that. And then like when you come out of the dream, having spent 10 years as this hippie, maybe Eames still thinks he's a hippie vegan girl. I don't know, like weird shit. I'm just thinking like, it's gonna go crazy. Like what the fuck is Nolan thinking of? Like a decade. What are they gonna do with this? I've never seen a movie where they like, and you get a scene from True Lies. They're skiing and shooting and it takes like 2 hours. Why did we need 9 years? What the fuck? This is what I'm talking about when I say this movie is stupid. Like, not, hey, I rewatched it 40 times and I noticed in the background of this shot here that there's this little...
It's a 2F09 when Ichi plays Scratchy's skeleton like a xylophone. He strikes the same rib twice in succession, yet he produces two clearly different tones. I mean, what are we, to believe that this is some sort of, magic xylophone or something?
I'm talking about seeing this movie for the first time in the theater, and I'm like excited about what's gonna happen. And then it feels like the second half of the movie was written by a different person who like didn't even understand the first half of the script. Like,
Arthur has a couple minutes. We have about 20.
okay, so we're back to 10x now. I thought with the drugs it was 20 or something. Like, we're back at 10, okay. Unless you're a Philistine and you use couple to not mean exactly 2, which bugs the shit out of me. A couple is 2. Okay, so if a couple minutes gets you 20 minutes, that means the van is in free fall for 12 seconds. That's an easy physics problem. If you start with 0 vertical velocity and you're in free fall for 12 seconds, what was your starting height? Anybody got it? Anybody got it? I did the math, it's 2,313 feet. Just get the van to the top of Willis Tower in Chicago, drive it off that. You're still 863 feet too short, okay? Like, holy shit, this is a tall bridge. Again, all they had to do is not use specifics, not make me do the math, not provide me with enough information to do the math and point out this stupid crap. I'm in the movie theater, like, doing math in my head, going, wait, that doesn't make sense. And anyway, why are you using math so concretely? It's a dream, it's not a goddamn physics simulation. How long was Saito dead in the snow level? Because they act like he's aged like 50 years or something. Look how super old he looks. Even if we go with 20x, to get to 50 years at 20x, that means he's dead in the snow level for 2.5 years. And the thing that looks like it takes like a couple hours. So there's time dilation bullshit, I don't know. It's just way higher in limbo, I guess. So if he is dead in the snow level for 2 hours, be generous, and he aged 40 years in limbo, what's the X on that? What is the time dilation factor? It's more than 20, is it what, 30? It's 50, 100? I did the math. It's 175,320x. That's 8,766 times more than 20x. So they're only off by a factor of like 9,000. Imagine you're a doctor and you're giving some dude a physical and it's all just pretty normal, it's just normal dude. And then you're like, can you whip your peen out? I need to look at your peen. He just like whips it out like it's totally normal and within expectations. And he pulls out a wiener that's 11 football fields long, including the end zones. And he's like, so what is this, is that good? That's how far off they are on this. Put another way, imagine you're having sex with a dude.
Let me pop a quick H on this box. This way we all know it's filled with hornets.
And then he ejaculates. We're using scientific terms. I'm a scientician.
Just ask this scientician. He'll tell you that
And you expect a human male average 3.7 milliliters, and then he ejaculates 32 liters and acts like that's just, you know, pretty standard. Inception's like a porno where a dude ejaculates 30 liters and nobody noticed. That's the degree to which Saito being that old is dumb. It's that dumb. It's 32 liters of cum dumb. And then you just grab him being old, like completely out of context, and make this dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. A flash forward, and now you've got an opening scene, everybody. Look at that, genius stuff. Now you say, shut up, suspend disbelief, and I'm like, this movie is the one that insists on constantly giving us specifics and details and rules and exact numbers and figures, and it makes me think about them. It's the movie's fault.
Inception's not about being specific.
I have an easy fix for this one too. Okay, you ready? Just don't give specifics. You just say every level down you go, it takes longer. Longer.
Couldn't have peed before you went under, sorry.
Bit too much free champagne before takeoff, eh, Yusuf?
Haha, bloody hot.
All right, so I've got a cocktail for you. This is call it a dream within a dream within a dream. Oh my God. I'm using crushed up vitamin B, which apparently glows. Sex on the beach, because it's beachy in the farthest dream down, right? Beachy. Snow level, so I'm going aquavit, weird Scandinavian. And then New York City, Manhattan. So I'm dropping in there. Up into that one. Okay. Anyway, I guess I'm gonna chip a tooth on this. Oh yeah, that's good. Oh, that's good. Inception! Inception is a metaphor for filmmaking, and every character represents like a director, writer, cinematographer, special effects. Many people have made a big deal out of this metaphor. I think Christopher Nolan said it's not true.
One thing that the Academy probably missed about Inception was that the movie itself is an analogy, it's an allegory for movie making.
And if you take the first letter of all of the characters' names in the movie and rearrange them, they actually spell out the words dreams pay. The movie itself is of course about a crew that makes money from carrying out heists in dreams, and thus...
So it's about movie making, which is a pursuit which ultimately leads you to murdering or being framed for the murder of your wife. Okay, he didn't kill her, he just gaslit her until she committed suicide. If you make movies, you'll be jet setting around the world. You never get to see your kids, even though they could come to you, but they just don't, I guess. And then you're barred from entering the United States. So basically it's about Roman Polanski. This is all a metaphor about Roman Polanski. Isn't that great? And he's the good guy, and he's innocent. So Nolan really taking a stand here. The totem. My totem glows under blacklight? I don't know. I got a glowing ball, and no one knows about my glowing ball, right, Pepper? The totem is an item you keep on you, which in the real world has a weird property. That's a secret only you know, which means if someone else creates a dream and you pull out your totem and it's just normal, then you know you're not in the real world. Rule number 1, don't let anyone know the details, and then he immediately gives her the details of his.
That no one else knows.
Like a coin?
No, it needs to be more unique than that.
Here, take a look. So you're learning.
I can't let you touch it, that would defeat the purpose. See, only I know the balance and the weight of this particular loaded die.
Just spin and spin.
So the top is useless at telling if he's in Ariadne's dream, because she knows the secret. It's also useless at telling if he's in Maul's dream, because it's she came up with it. So totems, as they're explained, have a strange property in real life. They're weighted weird, something missing, or there's a misspelling, there's something weird. So a person who's trying to fool you would just put in like a regular bishop and not realize it's weighted weird, or a regular die and not realize it's always gonna come up snake eyes. Cottom's totem has a strange property in dreams, not in reality. Okay, so how is that useful? Like, so if somebody is replicating the top, it doesn't know it's secret, then in the dream, it'll fall down. And so if he tests it, it falls down and he's like, oh, I'm in the real world, but he's in someone's dream. What the fuck? But you say it's not his totem. You say this on the internet a lot. That's not his totem. His wedding ring is his totem. Okay, except in the movie, we repeatedly see him use it as his totem. He very he very anxiously is like, oh God, I gotta spin it, and he's ready to shoot himself in the head if it doesn't fall down. Clearly using it as his totem. The ring being there or not being there could be some interesting detail of his subconscious, but it's not his totem. He never actually like uses it as such. Also, if you're losing track of reality, couldn't your subconscious manifest either the real or a fake version of the totem? Like Leo's subconscious comes up with a runaway train against his will? Couldn't it conjure up the totem that falls down even in the dream? Can this totem prove anything?
It's still a stupid.
It's such a fine line between stupid and clever. Yeah,
It's just a little turnabout.
If you're in someone else's dream, they don't know the trick to the totem and thus would give you like a regular die, right? But that implies they're like going through your pockets, they're like rummaging through what's on you and then like putting it in there. Otherwise, like, how do they know what's in your pocket that you have a bishop in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see me? So they're rummaging through your pockets, they find the items, and then they put them in the dream to trick you. Except they don't think to see if, oh, this person's carrying one chess piece. I wonder if that's their totem. Is it weighted weird? Oh, look, it's weighted weird. So you're basically saying these people who are gonna be knowledgeable about dream extraction, whatever, are going to rummage through the person, get the shit out of their pockets, and not realize there's a totem. Basically, the totem, it came up with the ending visual, and he worked backwards from there, and it doesn't make any sense. But because it works for the last scene, you guys thought it was clever, and it's not. All right, the big theory. Here we are. You've all been waiting. The big theory. Maul's alive. The mall is still going, GameStop is in there. Mall's trying to incept him with the realization that he's in a dream. So at the end, he realizes he's in a dream, he kills himself, he wakes up, and it turns out Mall was incepting him, and now he's in the real world, he's back with his kids. That's the theory, right? Oh, I spilled. Instead of the whole point of the movie being this plot to get a trust fund baby we don't care about, to break up his father who we don't care about, his company that we don't care about, it could be the plot all along was Mal incepting Leo to wake him up, and it's this very personal story involving characters we might actually care about, instead of this oil, who cares? But that's not how it ends. It's ambiguous, right? Okay, suppose Mal is alive, she's trying to incept him. Hey Mal, here's a good way to incept him, ready? Show up in what he thinks is the real world rather than in dreams. And it'd be like, oh, she's not dead. So Leo spins the top. Dream, reality, we cut to black. What happens after you cut to black? So they come back in the room a minute later, and his generic kids are like, hey Dad, why is that thing breaking the laws of physics? He needs to destroy the totem and like get rid of it, making checking impossible to say what it wants to say. Because it's saying he's walking away from it. He's walking away from caring about whether it's real or not. So if you want him to say, I don't care if it's real or not anymore, I'm gonna walk away, he's gotta destroy the totem or get rid of it. Suppose that the shot lingers and the top falls down, so that means it's real. No, it doesn't. That eliminates absolutely nothing. The top falling down means nothing. It doesn't mean you're in reality, because it could be he's in the dream of someone who doesn't know the secret to the top. Suppose he's in Sato's dream. Saito doesn't know the secret to the top, so the top falls down. Or suppose he's in his own dream, but his own subconscious is tricking him. Ariadne and Mal both know it should spin forever, but if they wanted to fuck with him for some reason, they could use it against him and make it fall down. Like, he could be in anybody's dream, literally anybody's dream, even his own. If it falls down, it means absolutely nothing. Dream, reality, we don't know. Oh no, will it fall down? Oh, that'll mean nothing. If it keeps spinning, he's in a dream. If it falls down, he's still in a dream, maybe, probably. Cool. Suppose the top spins forever, and that means Leo's in a dream. Okay, we end on he's in a dream. Whose dream? Where? Is it the entire movie has been a dream, and Mal is still alive and has been incepting him? No, it's not that. You know why? He's used the top repeatedly in the base world of the film, and it falls down, and he's like, oh, phew. So if those are accurate, then the base world of the film is real. All that the top falling down at the end would imply is that he's still on the plane in the heist, and that Mal is dead. Is that really that deep? He's still in the heist plane? He's on money plane? So for the Mal's alive theory to work, we have to say the whole movie's been a dream, and that the top has fallen down during that, and so it's unreliable. And so now you're relying on the top to be accurate, even though you've shown it to be unreliable earlier. Is Inception playing 5D chess? Is it really that deep and clever? Layer upon layer of, oh, but it's a red herring, but it's not a red herring now, but it was a red herring then.
Cobb, even if the top falls at the end, he could still be in anyone's dream. The top falling at the end tells us nothing. It is a red herring. It is there to distract you, to think you've got it figured out. Oh, if I only knew if the top fell, I'd have it all figured out. That ending was much more clever than you thought, right? Nolan has misdirected you, trying to make you pay attention to the wrong thing, the top, to try to find out whether Cobb is still dreaming. So what you're doing at the end of the film is like, oh, I wonder if he's still dreaming. And so you're looking down here at the top, based on a consistent interpretation of the film, that Cobb was still dreaming, even if the top fell. He would still be dreaming. He'd be in Sato's dream, as a dream that he created once he got the Eames Snow Fortress dream layer that was empty, once he woke up from limbo, only going one layer up. So Inception's more complicated than you think. What's clever about the ending is not the fact that it's a clever cliffhanger. It's clever because it tricked you into thinking it was a clever cliffhanger when it wasn't a cliffhanger at all.
But at the end of the film, there's a spinning top that's spinning, and if it falls or doesn't fall is the key idea. Is it a dream? Is it reality?
It is a red herring. It is there to distract you.
The way the end of that film worked, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Cobb, he was off with his kids. He was in his own subjective reality and didn't really care anymore. And that makes a statement that perhaps all levels of reality are equally valid.
It's clever because it tricked you into thinking it was a clever cliffhanger when it was when it wasn't a cliffhanger at all.
It's still a stupid. It's such a fine line between stupid and clever. Yeah,
It's just a little turnabout.
It's not that clever. It says the guy with a shot in a thing. Can you see? Oh God, it's dripping. Imagine writing a whole book. You spend like a whole year of your life going through the details of a Christopher Nolan movie. All this effort about the like philosophical implications of Christopher Nolan's writing, and then like your interpretation, specifically your interpretation, that has to be that this part's the dream, here's what's the real, whatever. And then Michael Caine just like willy-nilly is like, oh yeah, 5 minutes, it's real.
It lends itself to multiple interpretations. Are we convinced that it was better than the King's Speech yet? It's the all dream interpretation. That makes it better. And the reason why is because if it's not all a dream, there's some significant criticisms that can be leveled against the movie. For one, all of the characters except for Cobb are completely one-dimensional. They're completely one-dimensional. They're only there for Cobb. That's not good writing, and Nolan doesn't usually do one-dimensional characters. Inception should have won Best Picture. Either the Academy didn't understand it, or they didn't interpret it charitably.
When is it a dream and when is it reality? He said, well, when you're in the scene, it's reality. So get that. If I'm in it, it's reality. If I'm not in it, it's a dream.
So since we know Michael Caine is real, that means the heist is real. What is this movie about? It's about Bobby Fischer. His daddy's company is gonna have a monopoly on oil and gas. It's gonna jack prices up, and they're gonna like be bad. Gas will cost more at the pump, which means we'll then all like have to embrace green energy sooner and stop climate change. But then they helped Saito to break that company up, so gas prices will stay low, and we won't stop climate change. We did it. Thanks a lot, Dom. Remember how on Dream Level 1, they're in a van and it's falling? And then that falling means that in Dream Level 2, in the hotel, they're in 0G, right? And thus, Joe's dilemma of like, how do I make a kick without gravity? They can't fall. It's like a cool logic puzzle, right? Okay. It creates some scenes that are pretty original. 0G fights and like gravity turning fights. It's cool. It's pretty cool. It's not insanely clever or anything. It's just like hard to do. You need a budget and like lots of effects dudes and props people nailing shit down to the walls. You're falling in a van. That causes 0G on the next level. So in that level, they're in 0G. And then the next level, because of that, they're in 0G. Oh, just kidding, they're skiing. What? Why are they not in 0G in the snow level? The answer is, it would be too expensive. They should have been on a space station or like underwater. Just something cool. It could have been anything cool. You're in a dream within a dream within a dream. You use that opportunity to do a scene from True Lies, GoldenEye. What's a kick? A kick is when you are like, oh, I'm falling, and you feel that, oh, I'm falling thing, which is acceleration. It wakes up a person who's sleeping and falling. Except the movie forgets this halfway through. Because then they start doing kicks where a person who's awake jumps out a building and they're falling, and that wakes them up from that. So no kick from this, huh? So maybe the like coolest part of the movie, action-y wise, Arthur's in 0G, he needs a kick. There's no gravity, how can you do that? The kick is the sensation of falling. That comes from acceleration. You're accelerating, okay. Boom. Acceleration as it's pushing them up. Now they're coasting. 0G again, 0G again. Elevator car hits the roof. Elevator car stops, they keep moving, still 0 acceleration, until they smack face first into the roof of the elevator car. Then they would accelerate very rapidly when they hit that. So that's 2 possible points. That could be a kick. Explosion goes off, accelerate. Coast, 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 coast. Face first smash into the top of the elevator shaft. There's your second kick. When do they wake up? Not either of those. They wake up when the car hits the roof, and they are floating still, not experiencing any acceleration. That makes 0 sense. God damn it. God damn it. Take a physics class. Squandered opportunities. So in the Matrix, they needed a way to make these virtual reality things have consequences, right? So they established a rule, if you die in the Matrix, you die in real life, which makes sense. Every time you die in Grand Theft Auto, you die. So it's cheating, okay, but it gives stakes to stuff that would otherwise just be consequenceless, right? As an audience, we're pretty accepting, okay, here's a leap. This is, okay, whatever. In Inception, at the beginning, if you're in a dream, if you get killed, you wake up from the dream. Okay, there's your rule, I'm good. Now, I'm not super happy with it. You could have a dream where you're guillotined and then you're just a head and you live on as a head for months. Dreams are fucking weird. That also creates interesting possibilities for goals and stakes. So they establish that pain is real and he kills his friend to save him from all this pain. You know, that's a little different from your standard action movie. It can allow for pretty clear goals and stakes that are unique to this setup that it can't be in just any action movie. The bad guys can capture Juno. They're like torturing her spunky ass and it prevents them from completing their mission. They maybe get information from her to like stop them. Or you gotta go like save her from being tortured. And she comes out of this with like PTSD from being tortured forever. So imagine they're like trying to kill Juno to save her and she's like trying to help you kill her. So it's like trying to watch a goalie score an own goal or something. Like I've never seen that before in a movie. I'm looking at you, Barbados. So once they start the big heist, they commit a cardinal sin, which is, hey, you already spent the time on exposition. Don't spend more time on exposition to undo previous oh my God, what?
It won't wake him up.
What do you mean it won't wake him up?
It won't wake him up.
When we die in a dream, we wake up.
Not from this.
You go to limbo. So cool. They very helpfully define it as raw, infinite subconscious. It's like, oh, what is that, like a never-ending Lil Nas X video? We had a set of rules that was interesting, and now you're overriding them. What this accomplishes is now the rest of the film is a movie where they try not to die, try not to kill their friends, and then they shoot bad guys and try to not get shot by bad guys. I've never seen that before in an action movie. This is great. You're throwing away an interesting setup to go back to boring shit. This is what I'm talking about with, it seems like the second half of the movie was written by a different person who's like, I don't get it. See, you do this.
What is real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
So that you can do this. So when Juno learns about the dream world, she's given the tutorial, which is great. It's an exposition scene, but for an exposition scene, it was like, oh, this is pretty interesting. Like, so she folds Paris and moves bridges, infinite mirrors, all this cool shit. And then they give you a limitation, which is if you change too much, the subconscious, those NPCs will attack you. Hey, later in the movie, we're gonna need you to fold things. Infinite mirror, upside down city, weird shit, gravity, move gravity, woo woo woo. So if you change too much, the subconscious becomes hostile and suddenly all the extras turn into like Planned Parenthood protesters. And anyone with a pulse can see that later in the movie, this is what's gonna happen. They're gonna need Juno to manipulate some shit, get him out of a pickle, do a weird, but not too much. And then in the third act, never comes up again. They went through all this trouble of exposition to establish the power and the limitation, and then they never use it. Just like, what the, again, it's like two people wrote this movie. In fact, Juno is like pointless after this. The whole heist, she's just like Leo's shrink. Bring a girl along so she can talk about feelings. She's the feelings person. It's like, she's an architect. Like, give her weird. You set her up, it has no payoff. It's horrible. Like, what the fuck? So what happens instead? GoldenEye snow level from True Lies. At one point, they're like, oh no, the time is, we have less time. We need a shortcut. And you're like, okay, here's why we brought Juno along. She's gonna like turn the whole snow level upside down and it's like a snow globe. Or she'll open a portal in her vagina and they'll all ski through it. Something cool.
Can they make that route in under an hour?
They still have to climb down to the middle terrace.
Well, then they need a new route, a more direct route.
But what she does instead is she like makes a new route or something off screen. And then it's like, oh, they skied a different route. There's the zero G thing, right? But it's not a choice. It's not like, oh, I'm the dreamer in this level, and to get us out of a sticky situation, I'm gonna make gravity go away, and now we can like fly away with a jetpack or something, and meanwhile the guy's chasing us in a car, now they can't drive their car or something, I don't know. The zeroed gravity happens just on accident, and it becomes a problem, and he's like, oh no, how do I make a kick without gravity? And it's like, are you saying the dreamer can't change gravity in a lucid dream? Isn't flying in your dreams like one of the most common dreams? Like most people have had flying dreams. Lucid dreams in Inception, you can't change gravity at all. In dream level 1, they're in a firefight And it's just generic, like, Call of Duty, bang, 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 with your AR-15 or M4 or some shit. And then Eames is like, oh, you gotta dream bigger, and he pulls a grenade launcher out. I'm like, dream bigger is like a real-life grenade launcher? Why don't you dream up the gun from Eraser that, like, shoots through walls? Or just dream up Arnold from Terminator 2. He's a good Terminator, and you just have to send him out, and he can do shit. Dream a little bigger, man. The guy says dream a little bigger, and then he dreams just very small. Instead, this movie is just full of like standard action movie shootings. The action in True Lies is more unrealistic than the action in this movie. Like, oh no, a train that's not on rails? Oh my God, that's so unrealistic. That's like Fugitive. All right, so I'm an English professor. I'm not a philosophy professor. I'm not a philosopher, but here's me pretending to be a philosophy professor. The Allegory of the Cave, written in about the year 400 BC. Here's the basic bitch version you probably know. So Plato's all, there's a cave, and there's these prisoners, and they're facing a wall of cave, and they're looking at shadows of real things. There's like a fire in the cave, cast shadows, and they think that's reality, okay? And so the basic bitch version of this is to think, what if that's me, bro? Whoa, dude. The Allegory of the Cave is much deeper. It's a dream within a dream within a dream. Okay, it's a fictional story told by a fictional character who's already in a fictional book. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on. The prisoners are in there. One of the prisoners gets free, okay? He's out into the real world, having spent his whole life looking at these shadows. Okay, so he's out in the real world, and he learns and realizes, he becomes enlightened. Then he goes back to the cave. He goes back to his bros and is like, hey guys, these are shadows. This is not real. And they're like, cool, thanks, man, for enlightening us. No. They're pissed. They think he's crazy. Also, like, now that his eyes are adjusted to outside, when he's inside, he can, like, barely see, so they think he's, like, gone blind. They figure out if you go outside, it, like, blinds you and makes you crazy. No, I'm serious. This is just a shadow. Look, if you could look this way. They are pissed, and ultimately, they're like, they want to kill him. They want to murder him. They're doing something to all of them.
Shut up. I've heard enough.
Shut up, Timmy, shut up! Okay, so this is all a metaphor for the philosopher, right? The enlightened philosopher sits around thinking, comes up with, oh, this is an illusion, huh? And then he goes and tries to tell people, and they're all like mad at him and like don't want to listen. And so that is used as an allegory about democracy. The masses are out there, they're dumb and deluded. If you try to tell them the truth, they'll be pissed at you because you're like so super smart. Socrates was sentenced to death for basically trying to tell people, hey, we could do this better, whatever, and he was corrupting the youth. So the story of the Allegory of the Cave, it's being told by Socrates, but Socrates is this fictionalized version of Socrates inside of Plato's Republic. Dream within a dream within a dream, people. So Plato is using this whole thing to argue against democracy and say democracy is fucked up and can't work because the masses are idiots. And then instead we should have rule by philosopher kings. So like, what an idiot, because democracy is obviously so good. So the Allegory of the Cave is not just, whoa dude, that's a shadow, and then you make the Matrix. No, it is being used to say a thing about the real world. It's a metaphor about the life of the philosopher. It's a lesson about democracy. It's got things to say. To me, Inception is a whoa dude and a like, I've had 4 Budweisers and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And then Interstellar is like several bong hits, whoa dude. And then Tenet is like, you smoked crack and you're like, wow, what the fuck? So according to Nolan, the point is that whatever reality you pick is all that matters. So like, it's your reality. So if you're like crazy and sitting around naked, rubbing yourself with peanut butter, thinking you're Yoda.
Yeah, rubbing himself in peanut butter. Ooh. Just because the fucker's got a library card doesn't make him Yoda.
That's fine. That's your reality. All realities are equal. So he's arguing for like the prisoners of the cave to stay in the cave because that's their reality.
And I want to make the case to you that our dreams are virtual realities. These abstractions that we enjoy and we surround ourselves with, they are subsets of reality.
He's arguing against enlightenment. So he's like a flat earther, I guess. Leo makes Juno tell him the new secret.
Did Eames add any features?
I don't think I should tell you. If Maul finds out...
We don't have time for this. Did he add anything?
He added an air duct system that can cut through the maze.
Good. Explain it to them.
Saito?
But wait, we don't want Maul to know the secret. No, but tell me. And then she tells him, and then he's like, okay, now tell them. It's like, why did you need to just tell them? Why does he need... Little movies about Fisher's dad being disappointed in him. His last words to his son are disappointed. This is exactly the equivalent of being like, I'm an abusive husband. If I can't have you, no one can. It's like that cliche.
Disappointed!
So Ariadne, star architecture student, breaks all these laws, risks like melting her brain or like getting PTSD, is like, what the fuck, I'm not letting Maul into my subconscious or whatever. Why does she do that? Why does she come back? Why does she want to be involved? Because she's like so tempted by this dream world stuff, which is like, wait, couldn't she get access to dream world stuff without working on this heist? Because it's not like it's super high-tech top secret, like, okay, maybe hard to get. Yusuf is running a lab in his basement in Kenya. So you're telling me like this top architecture school, when we've already established architects use it, they don't have like a computer lab? Get this goddamn school a computer lab. So 4 movies came out in 98 and 99. So all 4 of these films more or less are just as clever as Inception. Why is it that Inception and The Matrix won out, or in the canon, and 13th Floor, eXistenZ, and Dark City didn't make the canon? No one remembers them. Why is that? 13th Floor is the most cookie cutter of them all. It's like standard real world. It's a computer programmer working on a simulation in the 30s. Okay, and so he goes in there and those people in there think it's real.
Giant computer game?
While my mind is jacked in, I'm walking around experiencing 1937.
Where it gets dumb is that when you download into the 30s simulation, and you have to go into a character that's already there. You can't just make a new avatar. And so when you do that, the character who's already there uploads into your real body. Like, what is this shit? And then, of course, wow, an AI escapes into the real world. Oh no. And then, spoiler, it turns out that the real world in like 1999, whatever, is a simulation, and then he wakes up and he's in 2030. Just doesn't have that many layers to it. It's like pretty straightforward about it. No cool action or anything. The fact that they're in a simulation, it's like, well, it's the 30s and you're in the 30s. Kind of boring. Kind of the most boring of the 4. eXistenZ, David Cronenberg. Great and weird. It's Cronenberg. It's all kinds of weird, like slimy, gooey body horror.
Kissing them.
It's just excited. Wants action.
eXistenZ is about a video game inside a video game inside a video game.
What if we're not in the game anymore?
It's all about these people who play like these role-playing games. They jack in. I think overall it's like the most Inception-like of the 4, because it really is pretty similar. They all like jack in together and like share a dream, but this is a game. They also have a game designer as like the architect. Like really weirdly, okay, Inception feels like a video game, but they call it a dream. eXistenZ, they call it video games, and it feels quite dreamlike. There's very weird shit. So Inception's like Grand Theft Auto-y. eXistenZ feels like Return to Zork.
Want some rye? Of course you do.
But the big kind of the problem with it is there's not overarching world building going on. Like we don't really know what's going on because we're just like inside a game or whatever. We don't really know. There's not like a big overarching thing like there is in The Matrix where there's the big war or whatever. It's also just chock full of weird sexual innuendo, sex, baby, umbilical cord. It's weird. And I like that because I'm a sex weirdo.
Where's your bioport? Oh, don't tell me you've never been fitted. I can't believe it.
No, I was never fitted with a bioport. What do you care? I have this phobia about having my body penetrated. What's going on? I can't move my legs.
The procedure comes with its own epidural. Just like when you have a baby.
You're gonna pour it into me while I'm paralyzed? What's that for?
New ports are sometimes a bit tight.
How come bioports don't get infected? I mean, they open right into your body.
It also leans really heavily on the gaminess, and at times it feels it's really awkward because it's supposed to be this like awkward, stilted, you're talking to an NPC. Like it's like interesting and unique, but I don't know that it's like that compelling really.
What's he doing?
He's gone into a game loop. He won't come out of it until you give him the proper line of game dialogue.
Want some rye? Of course you do.
Characters are obviously supposed to jump on each other. It's most probably an pathetically mechanical attempt to heighten the emotional tension of the next game sequence.
The action is like okay. Again, it's like it's pretty low budget, so.
We want the special.
The special is for special occasion.
We're here for the special. Dracula is a special?
I cannot give you the special. Mutant reptiles and amphibians provide new and previously unimagined taste sensations. Hope you enjoy it very much.
Just think about it, man. If you stayed your whole life in the game world, then you could live to about, I don't know, 500 years.
Dark City, I think, of the 5 films I'm including Inception, is the best on the premise level. Not in execution, premise level only. Most interesting to think about, kind of the most philosophical of them, maybe. It's just not executed that well. So it starts out, it's this noir murder mystery. You've got this guy.
No, you must listen to me. You have lost your memory. There was an experiment. Something went wrong. Your memory was erased. Do you understand me?
No, I don't understand. What the hell is going on here?
You serious? I just told you that a moment ago.
Right.
It appears that he's a serial killer, but he's got amnesia. What's going on? There's a detective who's like hunting the serial killer. So a very grounded, pretty real story. But then there are these strangers and they have like superpowers. Or what? Are we in a simulation? What's going on? Are they aliens? And it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder. Big problem though, the studio meddled. Studio's like, people aren't gonna understand this. They made Kiefer Sutherland do this horrific Blade Runner style narration. Straight at the very beginning explains like the whole world pretty much. And so then the movie starts, and the movie, like the plot is centered around like, you were like, oh, I'm in a grounded real story. Well, wait, this is weird. What's that about? Wait, this is weird. What's that about? But then you're like, I know what that's about because you just told me with the narration. The narration really ruined it.
A lady. She broke her neck.
Oh my god, but you can see her?
Yes.
Where is she?
Standing next to my window.
Haley Joel Osment is just this creepy kid who can see ghosts. And he's got to help his therapist, who's a ghost, Bruce Willis. He's dead already. That's what the movie's about.
So if you're gonna watch it, make sure you get the director's cut. I don't even know if you can get the non-director's cut anymore. This movie came out in '98. And I want to say I rented it in like 2002 or 3, something like that. And I read people say online, like, skip to this point because you gotta skip over the narration. And so it used to be you would get the VHS and start here. So Dark City comes closest to The Matrix with like pretty interesting action and special effects. They're still not quite as good. It's not as revolutionary as Bullet Time, right? But it's pretty good action and set pieces, better than the others, I think. It's very Matrix-like in a lot of ways. The guy, like, so I'm getting into spoilers now. Dark City offers up the possibility that every day when you wake up, you're a new person, or like your memory's been wiped.
Why?
How do you know the universe wasn't created like 6 hours ago, and at the moment of creation, we were just imprinted with memories at that point?
Weren't you looking for the human soul? That's the purpose of your little zoo, isn't it? That's why you keep changing people and things around every night. Maybe you have finally found what you are looking for, and it's going to bite you on your...
In order to learn...
Learn what?
About you, Mr. Murdoch. You and your fellow inhabitants. What makes you human?
Why?
So it gets weirder and weirder from there. The main character is basically Neo, and he gets superpowers, and why him? I don't know. The biggest problem though is even with the director's cut, even without the voiceover narration, it still doesn't really do the mystery all that well. It's not doling out information in a great way that keeps you hooked. It weirdly like doubles back. Imagine in The Matrix, if Neo is out, he's in the real world, and then like halfway through the movie, we cut to Neo's girlfriend and inside the Matrix, and she's like, where did my boyfriend go? And like she's trying to figure out what the Matrix is when we already know. So the Matrix, best of the four. Why is it the best? Is it because it's the cleverest? No, it's not. There's the battery nonsense that really makes no sense, which is really the studio meddling, because the studio was like, people aren't gonna understand this, which was they were putting people in the Matrix to use them for labor, right? Like use them as like programmers to do creative programming things, because maybe the AI is not creative or something like that. Studio's like, no, it's too weird. And they turned them into batteries, which is just dumb. Like, and then in the sequels, Neo's superpower cheat codes work in real life for no reason. That's really stupid. Also, Trinity's like, you must be the one because I love you, and you're the one to me. Like, what? This is so corny. The big thing The Matrix does have going for it is the larger story of like the war between humans and robots. It kind of hints at a bigger world. Why is it that The Matrix is the one of the four that lived on? Why is it that Inception is such a big thing in the canon? It's because they had the biggest budgets, they had the best action sequences, best special effects. That's really it. I'm telling you, if Dark City or eXistenZ had been the one to come up with bullet time, eXistenZ and Dark City would live on, not The Matrix. It's not about the big ideas, it was about how cool it was. Inception's got cool shit, that's why everybody thinks it's so smart. It's not smart, it's cool, it's not smart. So the real Inception, the real reverse heist, was when millions of people went to see Inception and thought it was philosophical and deep.
Are you here to steal from me, or do we are actually asleep? An audition.
An audition for what?
Doesn't matter. You failed.
We extracted every bit of information you had in there.
But your deception was obvious.
I'm gonna have to do this a little more simply.
Tell us what you know! Tell us what you know now!
I've always hated this carpet.
This isn't gonna work. Wake him up. Give him the kick. What? Dunk him.
You built all this? This is incredible.
We built for years. And we started in on the memories.
I hope you're ready.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Hey, to your father.
Are you ready? Want some gin and tonic? Gin and tonic and a black light. You see that? Is that glowing? So the key is to a glowing black light drink. Tonic apparently not that great. Orange hoodie. Put that in your drink. Blend it up maybe. Oh my goodness. Hi there, buddy pal. Ruben's our new foster. Does he glow under black light? Oh, this is the whole reason I got a white dog. This is such bullshit. Why don't you glow? Done with that shit. Tennis balls also glow under black light. Put that in a drink. Be a good idea. Just feel him up his own ass the whole, and then jerk off.
Just because the fucker's got a library card doesn't make him Yoda.
Metro North Mall.
Inception should have won Best Picture.
Why? Why would a man whose shirt says genius at work spend all of his time watching a children's cartoon show?
I withdraw my question.
Nolan doesn't usually do one-dimensional characters.
She gets a special clone. It's called Sex Panther by Odeon.
Inception's not about being specific.
Which gives Arthur 3 minutes, which gives us what?
60 minutes.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.